The Presidential Retirements Bill and the Retirements Bill of Designated State Officers 2012 were this afternoon tabled on the floor of the House by Finance Minister Njeru Githai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thus opening lively debate, members offering different schools of thought on the spirit and intent of the bill that, among other things, seeks to raise the President's retirement perks to a farewell lump sum of about 25 million shillings and a pension of at least 1 million shillings per month for the rest of his life.
I would rather we consider those old wazers and mamas who even were part of the Mau Mau freedom fighting than sit here and allocate ourselves such huge pension funds. I think this will be sending the wrong signal in this country.
We need to send a message out there that it is honorable to serve your country, Mr. Speaker.
I find it completely morally difficult for me to recommend millions to go into some living when this country still has people who cannot afford the drugs.
However, Mr. Speaker, the amounts that are put there are too hefty, and I will be proposing amendments at the committee stage. I support.
I don't know why we should be wasting so much time here debating an obvious matter. And I think every one of us agrees that President Kibaki has done a wonderful job.
I think it is illogical to say it's okay for the president and then it is not okay for others, and then begin to behave as if the president is not a state officer and the others are.
President Kibaki, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, House Speaker Kenneth Marende and his deputy Farah Maalim are poised to get a total of over 50 million shillings lump sum payout as soon as they leave office if the two bills are approved. However, speaking in Eldoret, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission chairperson, Sarah Serem, faulted this move by the August House to attempt to debate and pass the retirement perks, since the Constitution accords the Commission the sole mandate to set and review salaries of state officers.
And the process and the functions of the Kenyans now are driven by the Constitution. So what was has stopped, and what the legislature is doing is what was. But we're saying there's been a change since we brought in the new Constitution.
The Commission chair insists that Parliament was setting the salaries oblivious of the economic consideration and implications they may have, and that the nobility of seeking to reward the head of state and other designated House officers notwithstanding, due process had to be followed.
And of course, if we all go by the Constitution, and which is the supreme law at this point in time, then that will be an illegal passing. Yeah. And of course, when anything is illegal, then you have to seek for the legal process.
This bill, I want to say that there are many times.
Back in Parliament, Prime Minister Raila Odinga earlier in the afternoon gave what would be his final speech to the August House. The Premier lauded the Grand Coalition government, his co-principal President Kibaki, Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, Speaker Kenneth Marende, as well as the August House for steering the country through one of its most trying times.
It is my view all these challenges are surmountable. I am optimistic largely because of what I have experienced and witnessed in the last 5 years.
Members of Parliament equally lauded the Prime Minister, but also took occasion to campaign for themselves and the parties they represent.
I'm unable to wish my fellow and worthy competition luck, because that luck should be to me solely, so that I take over from President Kibaki.
This is a Jubilee coalition, this is a Jubilee year, and we expect to win the elections.
Make sure you take care of all Kenyans, whether members of your coalition or not.
Parliament continues to have a packed in tray, and it will be interesting to see just how much members of Parliament will achieve given time constraints and bearing in mind all the considerations and guidelines provided for in the Constitution. Willis Raburu, Citizen Live at 9, Nairobi.